Hey, Barb Nangle, boundaries coach with Higher Power Coaching and Consulting. And I was doing a project for my business where I pulled together a whole bunch of the issues that clients come to me with for boundaries coaching. And I thought, this is so juicy, I have to share it. So, first, I want to share this is just a handful of some of the hardest part when it comes to setting boundaries. Then I'm going to go into another short list about why the clients think they have poor boundaries. And then I'm going to list a ton of the reasons they're coming to me, like what's the shit that's going on in their life. So the hardest part, I don't express my boundaries well, and it leads to rejection. The after effects, beating myself up because I didn't have or enforce a boundary in the past, but it's a mental downer. Setting and sticking with them. I don't want to upset anyone. Making and keeping them. Maintaining boundaries when others push back. My most difficult issue regarding boundaries is understanding what they are and how to set them. Now, in terms of the reasons that people believe that they have poor boundaries, totally resonates with me. I grew up in a dysfunctional family. I wasn't taught them. So here's what they said. Raised by an alcoholic father, a narcissistic mother, and my feelings were not important. In childhood, I stood up for mom. I stand up, but I also check out. I was raised in a home without boundaries and learned that my job was to keep the peace and to ensure others were happy. There's trauma tied to it, childhood trauma. I didn't realize the connection between my upbringing and the choice of people I put into my life and my behaviors. I grew up in an environment with enmeshment and codependency. This feels so deeply embedded in my subconscious. I grew up in an incredibly fucked up dysfunctional family, and boundaries didn't exist. And then the last one was abusive childhood. So now I'm going to list a whole bunch of things. And my guess is if you're here still watching this, then you are going to resonate with a whole bunch of things on this list. I know I do. So here are the reasons. I'm busier than I can manage. I'm in the midst of a high conflict divorce with a narcissist. I don't trust my observations of what my life is like. I want to know how to hold boundaries with love for myself and others. Most of my relationships end in conflict because I don't feel safe and confident. I recognize patterns of the drama triangle in my life. I have trouble with relationships and it shows up at work. I find myself puzzled why I'm in these conflicts. I end up angry. Why aren't you doing what I want you to do? And then I end up triangulating. I have trouble with boundaries at work. I'm afraid of authority figures. I feel undervalued. I made more money than ever, but I still told myself that I wasn't worthy. I have a hard time saying how I really feel about anything because I'm so worried that I will hurt people's feelings or come across as rude. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I want to come out of victim mentality. I have difficulty accepting help at work. I feel overly responsible for tasks. I'm doing too much. I feel intrusive when I need help. I feel like I'm doing something wrong when I can't handle everything myself. I feel scared when I make mistakes. I'm overly responsible. At work, folks are concerned about me being in people's lanes. I want to stop enabling my son and have better boundaries with him. I need help understanding that I even have the right to have boundaries. I lost my voice. I motivate myself with shame, guilt, and fear. So I want to motivate myself in ways that don't feel like crap. I let others define things for me. I question myself. I look for validation as if I'm unable to validate for myself. I need help discerning what I want versus what other people want. I've always felt like I'm incomplete. I have a pervasive sense of sadness. I go out and buy a bunch of shit that I already have. I'm sort of sleepwalking through life. I feel like I'm missing out on something. Fear holds me back. Fear of upsetting others. I have a problem with consistently setting boundaries. I take too much on and just go instead of slowing down and thinking about what's right for me. Boundaries issues are primarily with friends and family, not at work. That's funny because a lot of people, it's the other way around. But I mean, everybody has issues everywhere. I procrastinate on things for myself. Actually saying them out loud is really hard for me. I'm tired of reading books and need actual practice. I'm really self-aware, but have a hard time putting it into practice. I say things I don't want to. Then I ask, why did I agree to that? I get anxious when people are upset, so I try to keep everyone happy. Then I end up exploding when things become too much. I really need to get hope and need to change for myself for the future. I don't want to be a people pleaser anymore. I'm drawn to the wrong people and I don't want to be anymore. I've done a lot of growth work and it's a pattern I'm seeing come to the surface. It's so insidious and so subconscious that I need to deal with this. I'm trying to get others' approval. I struggle with those who I care a lot about what they think. I'm moving my boundaries to people please. It's scary how I lose myself sometimes. I people pleased and violated my own values. I need help with boundaries because of relationships with myself and everyone else. I have people pleasing and codependency tendencies. I have yet to get the tools I need to change after years of therapy. I need help. I can't do this alone. I'm 54 years old and don't want to wait any longer to experience a happier and fulfilling life. So much time has been lost. I didn't have the tools to live a happier life. I'm a typical people pleaser and then become super resentful and angry when I'm in a position that I didn't, quote, choose. I grew up in an Asian immigrant household in the US where my parents demanded excellence and obedience. So I guess I just continuously think that when someone says I should do something, I don't have much say in the matter. I stretch myself too thin, that I handle a lot of load that probably isn't mine to take on. I want everyone to be happy at my own expense. Intercultural relationships are really hard for me. I used to be fun. Life used to be fun. I don't know where that went or how to bring that back. Now it's just continual stress and commitments and burnout. So listen, if you recognize yourself in like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 or more of those things, you're probably a really good candidate for boundaries coaching, and I would love to help you. I personally identified with many of the things on that list before I got in recovery, though some of it I didn't even really know about myself. But it came clear when I got into 12-step recovery, which is where I learned how to build healthy boundaries. So if you want to work with someone who's made those kinds of changes and has a life where I'm most of the time happy, joyous, and free, I'm in healthy, happy relationships. I love myself. I like myself. I trust myself. I feel worthy. And all of that has everything to do with healthy boundaries. I'd love to work with you. I've put a link in the comments to sign up for a 30-minute Better Boundaries call with me. I've also put a link to my testimonials page so you can see what the people who came with these kind of problems, what their lives are like now. So would love to hear from you.